Hello everyone, hope you're having a great day. In this video, I'll be showing you a build guide for the Dancer class mod here by TurboHobo. Now, this class mod has charisma as its focus. You got 3 different subclasses, and it's kind of like a dexterity charisma based class. It comes with its own choice in spells here, like the melodic mend here, which allows you to use a bonus action to pick up downed creatures and remove burning, ensnared, entangled, and webbed, prone, and sleeping from them with a bonus action. We also got the vicious mockery cantrip or friends if you want to be the face of the party. And then with this, we also get to go with ability score spread of 16 charisma, 16 dexterity, and 14 constitution, and then 10 intelligence wisdom. You can take your charisma points and put them into the constitution if you prefer it that way for a bit more health. I'm going to roll with this stat spread here. If you're on console, you may have to swap your bonus +1, +2 on your stats, and you'll also have to select skill proficiencies, which I recommend acrobatics and persuasion. At level 2, we get the choice of some more spells here, and we get some fun ones like Healing Word and Sanctuary. Sanctuary being a good one to protect your teammates, and Long Strider's another good choice if you don't have someone on your team already with it. Level 3, we get to take our subclass. Now, there's the Cheerleader as well, which allows you to create a spell slot for a teammate, and it also gives you a Pom-Pom Prayer, which does twice your character level in healing. So if you're level 12, that's 24 extra health. And there's also the Paramour, big fan of that band. With your charm, you're far more conceiving the most, and then you also get the Lover's Lash, which pulls creatures closer to you by 6 meters and also charms them and deals 1d6 damage. I'm going to go with the Blade Dancer here because this lets us add a charisma modifier to our armor class, but most notably, it gives us some cool choices in cantrips. So there's Booming Blade, and then there's also Bolt Struck Blade, which adds lightning damage onto it, and then in 3-meter radius, you do a 1d8 lightning damage, and there's Burning Blade as well. I really like Bolt Struck Blade, so we're going to roll with that. If you're a high elf, you can take the natural Booming Blade that's in the game. And for this, I guess Divine Favor can be kind of nice. And Long Strider just for, I guess, general buffs for the team. Now, we do get some extra attacks a little bit later on. You'll see we get to choose a dance here now. So this gives us the Cha-Cha, which will give us haste. This uses a dance step charge. We also get the Salsa Dance, will make enemies harder to hit us, which gives us a +3 to our armor class. The Vogue here gives us an extra action. This is almost like a action surge, a little different than haste. There's the Break here, which lets us do an additional +3 on our attack and damage rolls. There's the Mosh here, which lets you damage an enemy as a reaction as a melee attack. And then there's also the Samba here, which lets you get an extra bonus action. And the Hula Dancing, which lets you recover 8 health points per turn. I really like Cha-Cha Dancing or the Vogue here. Getting an extra action is absolutely crazy. And there's 2 different versions of that, which is nice. So I'm going to go with the Action Surge version. And then we're going to go with an Ability Score Improvement or the Alert Feat. I like Alert going +5 to Initiative's great, but also increasing our dexterity for better armor classes. Survivability works too. At level 5, this lets us go with another cantrip, Minor Illusion or Friends of the Face Party. Should have taken it a little earlier. Thorn Whip's kind of cool too, but I'm going to go with Minor Illusion. And this gets us to take a class passive. The Reverberating Rhapsody allows us to do 2 stacks of reverberation when we attack an enemy. That's pretty good. Surging Sonata allows us to get 2 stacks of lightning charges whenever we do a melee attack. And this one will give us 2 stacks of heat whenever we do a melee attack. This is honestly the best. Lightning charges are nice for the extra lightning damage and attack roll benefits, but reverberation would be best. Second would be surging Sonata, and heat will actually damage yourself. And heat kind of sucks, I'll be honest. Heat's not that good in Baldur's Gate 3. Level 6 gives us our class feature Free Flow. Won't trigger any opportunity attacks. We can move around freely. Level 7 gives us another dance choice here, and we got like the Salsa Dance or the Cha-Cha there, which gives us haste. Always a nice thing to have. You could also go with the bonus action Mosh. I'm going to go with the Cha-Cha there for the extra haste. I just think that's really good to have. Level 8 gives us another choice in feat or ability here. We get the Thunderous Tempo, so you charge forward dealing thunder damage and dazing any enemy you hit. When a target's dazed, they have disadvantage on wisdom saves, so things like Hold Person Command will land easier. This can deal lightning damage and shock the target, and this one can deal fire damage and set them on fire, doing fire damage over time. I think dazing a target is probably the best choice. Lightning Legato is kind of cool too, but dazing a target is just really good. For our next feat, I'd recommend grabbing Alert for +5 to Initiative. Let's just make sure that we do go first in combat. And then we got the Serene Stretch, doing 1d6 +3. It's our Charisma modifier. Healing, sit down and take a step and stretch. You deserve it. Recover 1 dance step and some health. So yeah, you can get your dances back this way. Level 10 gives us another choice in dance. So at this point, I guess we could go, there's an extra bonus action, which is really nice. Or in the Mosh, this gives you the bonus action attack there. I think that's good unless you want the 3 bonus armor class or 2 attack rolls and damage rolls. And now at level 11, we get the Explosive Encore, which does 1d4 +10 piercing, +3d6 of thunder, lightning, and fire damage. Call upon your fire, deliver to ultimate finale. It uses 2 dance steps and it leaves the target dazed and on fire for 5 turns. Pretty good ability there for our level 11. And then for final level 12, you just get ourselves a feat. You could multi-class into the War Dance or the War Cleric too if you want bonus action attacks. But yeah, I think those are pretty fun abilities here. Then we'll go for the ability score improvement on either dexterity or charisma, depending if you're the face of the party or not. And the outfit is the Death Rose Veil here from the Ethereal Threads mod. So yeah, that's the outfit that I have on. Thought it was great for a dancer. Now this build's a little bit weird for gear because it's the way that the class in itself works. So shields will actually block the increased armor class from our charisma modifier. So if we have a shield on, we end up losing armor class. So we don't want a shield. This puts our armor class up to 25 there with the +1 or +4 from charisma. I'm also using the Wondrous Gloves for the +1 armor class from that. You could easily go with something like the Helldust Gloves or the Gloves of the Balanced Hand if you want to boost your offhand attack damage. And also, I really like the Gloves of the Belligerent Skies if you didn't take the ability that applies reverberation on your melee attacks. So we got a few different choices here that are pretty useful. Evasive Shoes for boost armor class 2, and then we also get the Robe of the Weave, which gives us a +2 to armor class and +1 to spell save DC and spell attack rolls. We then also get Cloak Protection, Birthright Hat. I got the Amulet of Greater Health just to give us a max health. You can use whatever you would like for that. Cross Stick Band with +2 acid damage and the Shield Ring of Protection there. I'm also using Orange Daggers. Use the best available weapons. Early game Act 1 items would be Knife of the Undermounted King. That's a really good item to throw onto this build, just for the extra damage that you get from that. And then also you could go with something like the Valor Alluve there for the melody. Kind of fits thematically as well. So those are a few different weapons. I also like Dolar Maris for the boost of critical hit damage. I'm not going to go over too many items. I don't go over a whole lot in these build guides for mod builds, but that's just some good armor choices overall. I just want to show this off in actual combat. All right, so we can give ourselves an extra action by using the Vogue Dance there. Now, heads up, the Cha-Cha is actually doubling your movement speed instead. I think this just ends up being the best choice here. We don't have many options for damage. We have like the Rhythmic Rally. We got a lot of buffs. But the Bolt Strike Blade here, you can see we actually have a lot of extra damage riders from the Acid, Necrotic, Fire, and the Lightning damage there. So it's actually kind of nice. So I'll use that against this enemy here. And of course, we get the critical miss. So I'll go again with that there. This just gives us a pretty good damage option. It shoots out damage in an area of effect. That wasn't enough to take them out, but it did apply 1 stack of reverberation, which is pretty nice. So I guess we'll just go ahead. We'll attack another target there. That's, yeah, good enough to take out both of them. Perfect. We use up all of our actions here. So yeah, we're pretty stuck with not really many other great options. We could cast Sanctuary on ourselves. I guess we got Healing Word we could use or Divine Favor. That's the only problem with not getting an extra attack. However, our offhand damage is actually pretty respectable, so we could do an offhand attack on an enemy, which will then also apply reverberation. Now, we had high enough armor class to avoid a few hits here, which is pretty nice. I'm just going to use an offhand attack. Hopefully, yeah, finish them off perfect. And then we got our booming attack here, where we can take out all enemies. And the nice thing is we can always reposition really well, because whenever we use our abilities, we're not actually going to be... whenever we're running around, we don't actually get hit with opportunity attacks. So we can go ahead here trying to hit multiple enemies there. We got one of them off. We dazed the weapons on the ground. Great. That's awesome. I guess we'll then use the Thunderous Tempo or the Bolt Struck Blade. Thunderous Tempo can give you some movement speed towards an enemy there. That took out that enemy. And for some reason, I got them to hit us with an opportunity attack. We daze that target, though. That's pretty nice. And then I guess I can go after. I need this target down because they're a spellcaster, and they're going to thwart my plans if I don't. So I'll go with the Bolt Strike Blade there, which is nice. It chained off to this enemy here and actually took out like 28 of their health. So that was a pretty effective turn. So I guess our best action at this point is just to go with our Bolt Struck Blade. Try to take out any target that's close by there. That extra damage was nice. Now, we actually don't get the Thunderous Tempo until we do another short rest, which is pretty unfortunate. So yeah, that actually is kind of not great. So we don't have very many options here. It's really just going with the Bolt Struck Blade. That's really just going to be it for what we can do for damage. So I guess we'll go with that, because that's going to chain around to that enemy there. I'm not sure if I can run this close to them, but we'll try. We got Mind Broken, but we took them out anyway. And for our final turn, I guess we can use Vicious Mockery, which is kind of funny. So boom, 16 damage they saved on it. That's fine. We'll go ahead with another Vicious Mockery, and that was enough to take him out. Perfect. So yeah, the Dancer is very well balanced, actually. You got those cool dances you can use for different abilities here. I think obviously getting an extra action is going to be the most powerful ability you can choose, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed, and I hope you have yourself a great day. We'll catch y'all in the next one.